Donald Trump's big, ugly bill has been facing down brutal blow after brutal blow. And worst of all for Donald Trump, and best of all for us, they come from the people closest to him. Of course, Elon has been attacking this budget for about a month now. Marjorie Taylor Greene, yesterday on Steve Bannon's show, said that there was no way it passes the House. And this morning, Fox delivered the worst news of all for Donald Trump that triggered him into a posting meltdown because it spells not such a great outcome for his budget. We are going to get into it all. But first, I want to start with Jasmine Crockett, who called out the only reason this disgusting, terrible, unpopular budget is being passed, and that's because Donald Trump wants to serve billionaires.
No one has talked about how many billionaires we actually have in this country. We have more billionaires in the United States than any other country, but the total number is 83. Last time I checked, we have 435 members in the House, and we have 100 members in the Senate, yet somehow 83 people in this country have more representation than the hundreds of thousands that are about to lose their health care as well as their SNAP benefits. If I just started going through the Republicans that sit on this committee briefly, I would tell you that, Chairwoman, you have 112,000 people that are about to lose SNAP benefits just in your district. I would tell you that it is estimated in your state, as your senators stated, that roughly 651,982 would lose their health care, or I would tell Rep. Fishbach that 67,000 people on SNAP, and in the entire state of Minnesota, 173 would lose their health care. I could go on with these numbers, or I could tell you about the fact that even when we look at my state, and I know that Chip Roy sits on this committee, but he's not here right now, but we have 56,000 people that are on SNAP in his district. But in the entire state of Texas, we have 1.6 million people that may lose coverage.
We have to keep in mind that this really is the whole point. You look at the polling, even from Fox, which we're about to check out a very bad clip for Donald Trump from, it's underwater by 21, 22 points. Sometimes I see it underwater 29 points. This is the most unpopular legislation Donald Trump has ever put forward, except for billionaires who really, really like it. And Donald Trump is trying to spin it as this job creator, this growth explosion just on the precipice because he's the growth president. The economy is going to be booming. That's the narrative he's trying to push. And that's just not true when you strip away people's health care, their access to their housing, maybe food. It gets a little difficult to work, Donald. But it's not just that the big ugly bill is going to do that. That's already happening. Just take a look at the jobs numbers broken by Fox that led to Donald Trump's Truth Social meltdown.
Trump would like to sign this right before the July 4th holiday to celebrate freedom and independence. John, we are 30 minutes away from the opening bell for a Wednesday in a holiday-shortened week. Your thoughts?
Well, our big surprise today had to be that ADP report on private sector employment. That was down by 33,000 jobs. The labor market is softening. It's flattening out. And that tells me that companies can go ahead and increase prices in response to higher tariffs, but I don't think that consumers are going to respond positively. They'll pull back on spending, so any increase by inflation because of tariffs will be quite limited. Ultimately, tariffs may do more to increase federal revenues, reduce the federal deficit, than to add to price inflation. And of course, all this adds up to lower than expected interest rates by the end of this year.
Yeah, great point. Markets have turned negative now 30 minutes before the open on the heels of that weaker than expected June ADP report.
Of course, Fox will try to spin this in a positive direction for Donald Trump, even though the previous president, Joe Biden, had one of the most successful domestic policies we've ever seen out of any president. And when he would have job numbers that came in at we'd had 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 jobs, and they'd say, these numbers are lagging a little bit, not exactly where he would have wanted them to be. But Donald Trump sees negative growth after inheriting a booming economy. And it's like, Trump is just trying to figure it out, and really it's Zoran Mamdani's fault. That's the spin on the ball that they're trying to put here. But Donald Trump clearly isn't happy about it because he melted down on Truth Social right here. Trump wrote on Truth Social, "Nobody wants to talk about growth, which will be the primary reason for that the big beautiful bill will be one of the most successful pieces of legislation ever passed. The growth has already begun." That's not true. At levels never seen before. Trillions of dollars are now being invested into the USA, more than ever before. That's still not true. Likewise, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs are filling up the coffers of the Treasury. Still not true. The tariff money has already arrived and is setting new records. We are growing our way out of the sleepy Joe Biden mess that the Democrats left us, and it is happening much faster than anyone thought possible. Donald Trump later continued on Truth Social, "The one big beautiful deal is all about growth. If passed, America will have an economic renaissance like never before. It is already happening just in anticipation of the beautiful bill, deficit cut in half, record investment, cash factories, jobs pouring into the USA, MAGA." So clearly, because he's an idiot, Donald Trump doesn't understand that his tariffs are costing people their jobs. It is slowing growth, which is actually happening, which will only be accelerated by the fact that this is the most damaging bill. This is the greatest attack on the American middle class we have ever seen. What Donald Trump will do is keep extra cash from being in people's pockets, stop the freedom of mobility that allows Americans to start small businesses, the backbone of the economy. It's also just cruel, kicking 17 million people off their health care. We'll see the closure of rural hospitals, hospitals all across the country, actually, community health centers. Donald Trump is going after Planned Parenthood. People will lose their jobs. The nursing home industry will be decimated, and Donald Trump does not care. There's no growth happening here. This is going to be a catastrophe. It's terrible, and we still have the opportunity to push back against it, which is what my Congressman Maxwell Frost was talking about right here.
People might be asking, what's an amendment do if it doesn't get in at the end? Each one gives us 5 minutes to debate. And so what you'll see is
probably a delay tactic.
It's a delay tactic. Actually, right after this, I'm going to go right back to the Hill and get my butt in line to go debate for 5 minutes. So that way we can delay it again, so people can continuously, in the public, know what's going on here.
And part of what's important now, and you touched on this, is people understanding what's in the bill and what the driving force is behind the bill. I just mentioned, and I just can't get over this, so I'm just going to read it again. Vice President Vance posted this today. The minutia of the Medicaid policy is immaterial compared to the ICE money and immigration enforcement provisions. I have so many thoughts about this, but I've already shared them.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, this isn't the slip of a tongue, right?
No, he posted it.
He posted it. And hasn't been deleted. Like, he believes that he's talking about the minutia of Medicaid. 17 million people losing their health insurance. Rural hospitals closing down. That clip you posted earlier when he was asked about the healthcare system, even the way he answered the question, what's the first thing he said? He brought up the business of rural healthcare. He didn't bring up making sure humans in rural America are healthy, the business. And that's the thing, is it's all a business. It's all making money to these guys. And it's not a new thing. The Republican Party has been about this for generations. They have someone in Donald Trump now, who's a billionaire himself, who wants to do it to such a degree that where people will die. Hakeem Jeffries just said this on a call I got off. He said, if this passes, the floor of the House will become a crime scene. And I fully agree with that characterization. It's murder. It's killing people. We're going to see people with disabilities. I mean, there's someone named J.J. Holmes who's a young guy with a disability in Orlando, Florida. He lives with his mom. He's an advocate. He's an organizer. Medicaid is the reason he's able to stay home. And he wrote a really touching letter to members of Congress saying, if I lose my benefits, I will be institutionalized. I literally won't be able to be with my mother, with my family, like I deserve to be. We know that the healthcare system in this country is not great as of right now. We have a lot to do. I believe in universal health care, single-payer system. But they want to make it even worse by ripping away health care from 17 million of our people. And to J.D. Vance, that's just minutia.
It's really, I can hear and see, and people can probably see it watching the emotion in your voice. And this is, every person I've talked to who's opposed to this bill is projecting that same thing right now and the horror of it. I wanted to talk about a piece of this that I don't, there's a lot that hasn't gotten enough attention. And part to me is this $170 billion in immigration enforcement. It includes $45 billion for building new detention centers. Nearly $30 billion goes to ICE. This is at a time where we are watching, and some of the most horrible stories are in Florida, masked agents literally pull people off the streets, separate them from their families. I just want to put into perspective for people, because I know you've thought of this, how large that amount of money is and what kind of damage that could do as well.
Yeah, I mean, the chaos people are seeing online when they see these masked agents pull up in an unmarked vehicle in broad daylight or in the middle of the night, going to elementary schools, to churches, to work sites, to Home Depot, wherever, and just snatching people up, and they forever disappear. They want the resources to take that and export it to every community in the country and take that chaos and put it everywhere. And I don't like to mince my words about it, because it's not even mass deportation. Deportation, it's a legal process. It could take a few months. It could take a year. This is kidnapping. And then they traffic people to other countries they might not have even come from in the first place. The majority of folks who have been here over 10 years, taxpayers, Americans, our neighbors, our friends, our family. And we see what's going on even in the state of Florida. Many people have died already in the custody of ICE. And then we have this whole alligator Alcatraz situation where they're putting up what's essentially an internment camp in the middle of the Everglades in the hot Florida sun as we're going into hurricane season. And they're using the Florida Office of Emergency Management to run the whole thing, the people who are supposed to help keep us safe when a hurricane comes. I mean, it's all for politics. There's human rights abuses, and then it's horrible for the environment as well. And so people should, no matter what your opinion is on immigration, look, I think we all know we have laws. We want our laws enforced. Of course, we want to make sure we have an orderly process at the border. I mean, I feel like everyone wants that, but nobody wants this mass human trafficking, chaotic campaign in our communities where we literally have immigrants and people who have been here, again, over 10 years of their life, our neighbors, fearing for their lives, not even sending their kids to school. I went to El Salvador for the Comar Abrego Garcia case. The reason I went there is because I had people in my community coming up to me and saying, he represents me. He represents my family. I'm proud. I'm the son of an immigrant. My mom came here from Cuba in the late 1960s as a refugee. If Donald Trump had been president when she came here with literally nothing, and she just retired as a public school educator of 37 years, Maxwell Frost wouldn't be here. Maxwell Frost wouldn't be here. And it's not about a model immigrant thing where maybe your son will become a congressman. These are humans. And people are waking up across the country. I'm going to super red districts where people might assume people agree with this. People don't agree with this. They don't want this chaotic, horrible, inhumane campaign in their community.
Congressman Maxwell Frost.
Republicans don't actually like this bill. Of course, they like that it serves their billionaire donors, but they don't like this bill. We still have the opportunity to fight back against it. I'm going to be in Congress again today. I'm going to be on the Hill. I'm going to be with some members of Congress. I'm going to be asking them and communicating to y'all as quickly and as much as I can how we can fight back against this thing. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you can stick around for that. And if you want to support our work, of course, as always, leaving a like and dropping a blue heart goes a long way. And until next time, I'll see you soon.